Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I've spent the last 2+ decades of my life. You know, a lot of you are curious about the SMOOTH program and what it's set up to do and what is its objective. Well, the SMOOTH program is for disciplinary prisoners, people that they deem that couldn't function and coexist in the manner they expect you to in regular population, so they put you in the SMOOTH program. Well, the SMOOTH program, when you get there, they give you all these booklets that you have to do. You know, they come through once a week, put a booklet in your cell and tell you, hey, I'm gonna be back in 2 weeks to pick this up. And you know, some of the booklets, to get your answer, you have to get on this radio station that they, you know, tell the story of whatever's in that booklet, and you're supposed to find the answers to it or whatever. But you know, the whole time I was there, I was never able to pick up that station. But everybody on the tier, everybody in the block, they had a routine. They designated a couple people, or a couple people designated themselves to listen to the radio program, and then once they complete their booklet and got their answer, they write it down and send copies to everybody. So the way I was doing so I never did the booklet myself. Like the first booklet they gave me, I read through it, went through it, did it, and everything. But you know, but all their booklet comes from a perspective that we're all a bunch of lying piece of shit scumbag, manipulative piece of shit scumbag. You know, when you start off categorizing a group of people in that manner, me personally, I believe you're already setting yourself up for failure. Because these professionals, these psychiatrists, these experts, or whatever they have that are putting these programs together, they have no concept, no understanding of what leads people to this lifestyle, or the reason that some of these people do the things that they do. You know, by no means am I saying that every one of us in a penitentiary are decent individuals. Yeah, there is, without a doubt, absolutely some people that, and I hate to say these things, but it's just keeping it real with you guys, that probably deserve to be in there. And I'm one of them. You know, through the course of my bid, I never complained about being in prison, or that I've never tried to say that I was innocent of the things that I did and that I didn't belong here. I knew what I did out here, and I knew the things that I was doing out here was gonna lead me to a place like this. And somehow in my young mind, I accepted that, and I was okay with that, because I signed up for something. And I knew that signing up for the things that I did and doing the things that I did, that these things were in my future. And I accepted that. My gripe during the time that I spent in there was the time that they gave me. In particular, was my assault case. You know, I signed a deal that my lawyer presented to me, that the prosecutor presented to him. And they both assured me that the judge was going to honor it, that the judge is always going to go with the prosecutor's recommendation. You know, and the reason that I signed this deal was it was for assault on a federal officer. The prosecutor came and told me that I had caused seriously bodily harm, that I fractured something in his face. And they also presented an offer that I really couldn't refuse. They said, hey, look, if you plead guilty to assault on a federal officer, your guideline, this is my guideline, not mine personally, but their guideline that affected me, was arranged between 9 to 14 months for this incident that I'm being charged for. And they said, look, we'll give you 14 months, which is the high end of the guideline. But on top of that, we'll drop the indictment on Paul Alma, which is the Simone dude from Park Village that I let out the cell. They'll drop the charge for aiding and abetting attempted escape on him. So in my mind, it was like, fuck it, 14 months, that ain't shit. Plus, they're going to drop the indictment off my homeboy. I just ride this out myself. So I convinced myself to take the deal because of these reasons. But when I went and took the deal, after I put my John Hancock on the paper, they reneged on the deal. The prosecutor jumped up and said, oh, sorry, we feel that Mr. Rith qualifies as a career offender, and that ups his category from category 2 to category 5 to a maximum of 100 freaking months or some shit, you know? And I'm like, what? You know, then of course the judge chimes in and she's like, hey, Mr. Rith, you know, I feel like you're a danger to the community. You're a danger to yourself. And I feel that, 14 months isn't sufficient for this crime that you committed. So she gave me the career offender and hit me with 96 months. Now, the problem I have with that is, if you're telling me I'm facing 96 months, that's fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is. But you tricked me. You came and told me that you were going to give me 14 months. And when I signed the deal, you reneged on me. I tried to appeal it before, the sentencing. And for some reason, the Supreme Court or the appellate court never ruled in my favor. They said that the judge was within her discretion to give me this time. Yeah, she bent the rule, but she never broke it. My thing is that me being dubbed a criminal, a gang member, a menace, a thug, whatever label you want to give me, you already expect me to do some foul shit. But you, as a prosecutor, as a state representative, you as a judge, you sell yourself to the voters that you're a person of integrity, that you're a person that abides by the law, that you're not going to circumvent the rule of law to get a conviction. But in my experience, and I'm sure there's some honest prosecutors out there, I'm sure there's some honest policemen out there, and I'm sure there's some decent, honest judges out there. And if you are these people that conduct yourself with integrity, with honesty, then what I'm about to say doesn't apply to you. But to the rest of you motherfuckers, you're all a bunch of lying, thieving scumbags. You don't see the effect, the thing that you're doing, the effect that it has on to the family. But I'm not even griping about if I get arrested for a crime, whatever your guideline says I deserve or I got coming, I'm okay with that. Even if I don't like it. Of course I don't like it. I can accept that. The part that I can't accept is that you profess to be an honest person, to conduct yourself with integrity, but through the whole process, in my experience, you lied. You lied to me. You lied to my attorney, and in turn, my attorney lied to me. But I really feel like the public defender that I got, he was a private attorney, but was appointed to me. I really believe, and even my lawyer that I got later on through the course of my bid, believed that you guys were all in cahoots to put me away for 2.5 decades. But you didn't do it according to the letter of the law. You did it by tricking me and fucking me over because I was young and ignorant to the law. So going back to the SMU program, it's set up from that perspective that we're all a bunch of lying, thieving, manipulative scumbags. So when you answer these questions that they're asking you, they don't want a truthful answer. They want the answer that they believe that you're supposed to give them. Because, like I say, even if you don't agree with the things that I've done and how I've lived my life, I believe for the most part Not every single time, but for the most part, I've always conducted myself with integrity. I've always done my best to try to fulfill my part of the bargain. When I shake your hand and give you my word, it's hell and high water for me to break that. You know, if I have... So I don't know if that counts for anything in anybody else's perspective, but for me, I believe that I conduct myself honorably through the course of my bid, through the course of my time. That's why I was able to be in the position that I was on all these different yards. That's why I've been able to build a relationship that I have with these different races, whether it's whites, Mexicans, blacks, and everybody in between. Because I've always conducted myself the same way towards everyone. I'm gonna give you the courtesy and the respect that you got coming as a human being until you tell me that you don't deserve it. You know, so these programs that I do every week, you know, through the course of the time that I was in the Smooth program, I'm really thinking that these booklets go back to somebody, they read through it, they evaluate it, and they determine if you pass it or not. Well, here's proof of how bullshit the program is. Let's fast forward to 6 months later when they brought my homeboy, Jimmy. He's from California, but caught his case out in Texas. He's in there for ecstasy. They gave him he played out to 26, 27 years or whatever. Now, we're in a cell, you know, by this time, we're getting moved around. This is 6, 7 months down the road. I get put in a cell with him. And the first week I was in the cell with him, the counselor comes through and they're passing out these booklets, these program booklets that we're supposed to do every week or every couple of weeks. So they stick 2 of them in our door, one for me and one for Jimmy. I grab mine like a good little boy that's programming, climb up on my bunk and starts reading, you know, what this week program is about. So as I'm reading through it, my cellie, Jimmy, looks up at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm looking through, because, you know, if I got something to do, I'd rather knock it out than procrastinate. I'm just going to grab it, look through it, fill out the fucking answers or whatever, or the answers that I know they want to hear from me, and move on with my life. So I'm looking through the book, trying to figure out, you know, what it is that we're doing this week. And Jimmy's like, you know, what the fuck you doing, homie? I said, I'm programming. And he starts laughing at me. Now, we're in the first couple cells. So the counselors that's passing these booklets, he's passing each booklet through each cell down on our side. Then when he reaches the end of the tier, he's gonna do the same thing, pass the booklets to the people on the other side. Well, Jimmy grabs his booklet and he goes, watch. He opens the book up, every page he just marks. He's not even reading it. Opens it up, marks it. Opens every page, marks it, and sticks it back into the door. Before the counselor had time to even make it back. So when the counselor makes it back towards our way, handing out the booklets in these other cells across from us, Jimmy knocks on the door and sticks his freaking booklet out the door. The counselor snatches it up, picks it up, and walks off. Now, I'm a little stunned because it's just like I spent the last 6 months reading through each of these fucking booklets trying to answer these questions. And this motherfucker Jimmy just marked some answers, just checked some box, scribbled some shit, and stuck it back in the door, and the counselor picked it up. The counselor's got to know that there's no way that some inmate could possibly have finished this booklet between the time that he walked from one tier from one end of the tier to the other. But he accepted the booklet and went on about his business. You know, when I seen that, I did the same thing. Just marked whatever answer, scribble in the booklet, I even left some spaces empty, or some other spaces I just made some outrageous comment, mainly talking shit to the staff, like, oh yeah, all you cops are a bunch of cocksucker. I just did all these things on purpose just to see if they actually read these fucking booklets, and if they're gonna come back and say that I failed or didn't pass this week's programming. Because like I said, for the first 6-7 months, I've been doing these programs, these booklet religiously. I had no idea that all this shit was fake, was bullshit. Because 2 weeks later, when they came back up and picked up the booklet, and then a week later when they come back and tell you they passed, everybody that turned the booklet back in passed. There was no way Jimmy could have passed that booklet because he just opened it up, didn't even read it, and just marked it and stuck it in the door. And then on my booklet, I'm expecting them to come back and be upset about some of the things that I said in there. Because like I said, some place I was leaving blank, and other places I was talking shit. I was calling them a bunch of cocksucker and whatever. Well, come to find out, they don't even read through these booklets. Come to find out that every program that they inserted into this smooth program, special management unit, it's all fake. It's just a lockdown. They think that you're a danger to their community, which is the other prison population. You met the requirement that allows you to be in this program. They're getting federal funding to have this program. So all they're doing is saying, oh, look how many people completed the smooth program. Look how many people participated in these booklets. Look how many people passed these programs. But all of it's a scam. All of it's a lie. I have not met one person, including myself, who became a better person when they left the smooth program. If anything, the smooth programs makes you more hateful, makes you more angry, makes you more prone to violence because you're stuck in a fucking cell, being mistreated, being disrespected, put in a situation where it could be harmful to your life and your well-being. And you have no outlet for that frustration. So you're only sitting in that cell day after day, festering in that negativity. That's just a little bit about the smooth program. Welcome to Lewisburg.